Hello friends, this is Scott, and it's the third week of May, and it is the week after Mother's Day, and the summer crop should be planted by now, but I'm behind, but that's okay. I'm only a couple weeks behind maybe, so I'll be able to catch up. But back to the school garden, and taking a look at it. The place where I put a lot of bark, for many years, is very few weeds. But it's going to take a few years of adding bark to this garden to really knock the weeds down totally. There's the strawberries, they're flowering, so we should have a nice little flush of strawberries. I need to weed that bed drastically, but as you can see, the wood chips serve me well, but they don't last forever. So as you can see, there's some bare soil, and where there's bare soil, you're gonna get the weeds. And we have the really obnoxious weeds in this garden. A lot of the bindweed, a really viney weed with really the nasty roots that, you break them off and they'll just resprout. But, normally this time of the year, I would have weeded this garden numerous times and been really frustrated. But, there's some weeding to do, but they're not out of control. I mean, it's going to take a few days to get this garden back in shape so that I'm ready to plant the spring or summer vegetables, I should be saying now, because we're kind of past the spring. We did plant some onions, but as you see, the weeds have taken those over a little bit. Again, you need lots of wood chips. It's hard. That's the kind of the transition point. Once your plants are up and growing well, you can just layer, inches of wood chips on top. But until that time, you got to pull the wood chips back, plant into them, and then you're susceptible to some weed activity. Now here's the potatoes that we planted. And as you can see, there's some potatoes that are coming up, but along with the potatoes are the weeds. So we're going to take care of these, and I'm going to use we bought some soil in a couple bags, as you'll see here in a second, from Biograss, and we're going to use those to help mound up the potatoes. But first step is I got to weed. And so here's what I did first, is I decided, you just got to dig in and get your hands dirty. So the potatoes were the first place I weeded, and they're looking pretty good. They're coming up. I've got a little more room to put some more potatoes, but there's the 2 black garden soil bags of Biograss that we purchased, the school purchased. And I'll be using this up throughout the year. But again, I'm just going to mound the soil over the potatoes, and as they grow, I'll just keep mounding more and more soil, giving the potatoes more room to produce tubers, and then keep them out of the sunlight, because that's what's most important about potatoes, is you don't let them, let the sunlight hit them. They'll turn green and kind of have a poisonous, skin to them. So after the first day of weeding, which is, about 2.5, 3 hours, I got all this done. So the onions look a little bit better. I need to plant some more onions, it looks like. I had the kids do that, and the results weren't the greatest. But I've got a lot more weeding to do, and I'm planning on coming back tomorrow, which I'll show in this video also. And that'll be the second day. Well, here's what I did the second day. And I got through all this. Looks a little better. And I got through the middle beds. And as you can see, I'm ready to plant here. So I just got to pull the bark back, plant the plants, and then I'll pull the bark back over them once the plants have come up. But looking a little better. I haven't got to this section yet. This is where I'm going to put vining crops or corn. I'm not sure exactly yet what I'm going to put here. But again, we're behind by a couple weeks, but it'll be just fine. It's better to plant a little late in this school garden, because that way the kids, when they're gone for the summer, all the produce isn't coming on, and they miss out on that. So being a little late is not a big deal. This outer section, though, got a lot more weeding to do. I did get through all the little mats that we had there and got the weeds out from under them and between them, so that looks a little bit better. But, this isn't hard weeding. It's just taking a shovel, digging down, loosening it up, and ripping them out. And I've taken all that stuff to the chickens, and my chickens at home, and they're really loving all the weeds. So, weeds are a problem, but they're also a solution for certain things, and I use them to feed my chickens. So anyway, we'll be planting soon everywhere. I've got to plant at my home garden, I got to plant the school garden, and I got to plant the hobby farm. So in the next couple weeks, we're going to be very busy with a lot of planting videos, it looks like. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Thank you.